I am now creating weekly exclusive content for Patreon, so if you are interested in that, go check out the link down below. And of course, if you want to avoid the random lottery of FIFA points, you want to go straight to the source, buy the players directly, use u7buy.com and use the code TVM at checkout. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to another player review. Not necessarily one of the big, exciting players to review first. From the ones that are in packs, but one that caught my eye because this guy is going to be super cheap. He's well under 100k already, and he's only going to get cheaper because of the fact that we're going to get guaranteed and we'll get upgrades and all the rest of it. So he'll be packed a lot and he'll be put on the market a lot. He's about 80k right now as I'm filming this. He's probably going to go down even more. As I say, he'll go down to the basic price of an 88. Maybe with a couple of k added on because he's a team of the season, but generally speaking, he's going to be really cheap. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to pick him up is because he's got some really nice stats with a chem style, goes up to a 95, 94 rated striker, which is nothing to be scoffed at this stage, really. I mean, we're into the back end now of sort of the, well, how can I word it? Not the back end of the game. I think we're into the sort of like the final stretch. This is the last big event, really, before the game starts winding down, but these are going to be the best of the best cards, right? So Lucas Perez can compete with some of those big boys. 4-star, 4-star, medium work rate's not ideal. 5'11" though, fits the game really well. Without the chem style, his dribbling isn't great. So what I mean by that is his agility and his balance. I mean, his balance isn't too bad, actually. I could cope with that, but his agility isn't fantastic. And he's coming up from a 77 rated card. And he's had a plus 17 on acceleration, plus 16 on sprint speed, and a plus 13 on agility. So, for that, I mean, I've talked about it before, and I'll quickly go over it again because I do feel like I repeat myself an awful lot, but it's just something that I kind of have to say just in case you've not seen any of the videos before because you're silly and you haven't subscribed yet. So, these cards that get upgraded from like the silvers or the low rated golds up into these high rated impressive looking team of the season cards, I feel like they're not really as good as they say they are. So with that in mind, I don't think that I just don't think they're as good as they are. So if you get an 85, 86 rated card that's boosted up to a 90, he's going to feel better than if you have a 77 rated card boosted up to a 90 because he's had that progression along the way. And if you've got a natural base card of like an 88 and he goes up to a 96, he's going to feel incredible compared to if you boosted a 75 rated card up to a 96. Just because he's going, I don't know, I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. But I think that's what the case is with most players. And Lucas Perez is not really any exception to that. Doesn't necessarily feel as good as the stats suggest. However, one of the reasons why I'm making this video is with an engine chem style, which is the one that I've gone with, because even though he is a striker, and even though it would make sense to maybe finish off the finishing, because he's got 91 finishing, which is nice, but it would be better if it was 99, right? And we can do that quite easily. We can give him a sniper, we can give him a deadeye, we can give him a hawk, a marksman, a finisher, whatever we want, and we can turn him into a 99, not 99 rated striker, but a 99 finishing striker. Why have I decided against it? I wanted the plus 10 on balance, I wanted to boost the agility slightly, I wanted to give him a bit more pace. Essentially, what I'm trying to do is turn him into a meta card, or rather, I'm going to start wording it this way, a card that fits the meta, because the meta is what the game is, not what the players are. We've been through that, not going to go through it again. So, now he has 97 balance, now he has 88 agility, and he has 99 dribbling and ball control with 95 acceleration and 92 sprint speed. Does it make a difference? Yes, it does. I can actually say with confidence that it does, because I accidentally went into a game without a chem style. I got a little bit too muddled up in what I was doing. I bought the card, I got a few other things ready, then I went away and came back and started playing with him, and I was like, oh crap, I didn't put a chem style on him, I'll do it next game. He felt a little bit, he wasn't like slow or anything, but he just didn't feel as sharp as he could do. Looked through the chem styles, decided I wanted to try and boost it. I mean, to be honest, right, had I not played a game, I might have gone with boosting that finishing. And that kind of, you know, just a side tip really, if you buy someone, whether you've watched a review or not is irrelevant, when you buy someone, don't put a chem style on them for the first game, unless you've bought them specifically to go straight into Weekend League, which I never recommend anyway because you don't know how they play, unless you've used a previous version and you know what they're all about. But if you buy a card and you don't really know anything about him, you've not used him before, or you've packed him or whatever, and you go into a game, but don't put a chem style on him, and just use him and see what you think needs improving. It's easy to sit there and say, oh, well, I'm going to look at him on paper and this needs improving, that needs improving, or we can give him something to boost the finishing to 99 or whatever. It's easy to say that, but until you actually play with them, you don't know what needs improving, because this game is so weird. Something that doesn't look that great can actually feel fantastic, and something that you think doesn't need improving is actually going to be the main thing you need to improve upon. So, yeah, if you want my honest opinion, go into games, go into your first 1 or 2 games with your brand new players without any chem styles. That comes back round to why I put the engine on him, because normally, like I said, I wouldn't have done that. I probably would have gone with something like a sniper, and I would have given him that 99 finishing, 98 positioning, better volleys, and of course then bumping up the agility and the balance. It's not going to be a bad thing. That still would have helped really nicely, but I think the engine makes up for a little bit more, because you give him that pace boost and he does feel sharp. He's not like, I'm trying to think of a player, to a degree, Aidan McGeady, you know, that type of card who's sort of, he's not quite 6 foot, but he's got insane agility and balance, really good dribbling, and he's fast. Those type of cards that have got that naturally without having being boosted. So like your Neymars and your Mbappes, they feel sharp naturally. So with Lucas Perez, we need to try and get as close to that as we possibly can. The engine does it. He's not quite on their level, but he's good. He does feel quite responsive. I did like him. At times he can be a little bit clumsy, and I think that comes down to the whole, he was a 77, he's been upgraded to an 88, so obviously he's not going to feel as good as someone who's just gone from an 87 rated card to an 88 rated inform, for example. But for the most part, I think he's not bad. His finishing was actually really good, and I do attribute a lot of it to the shot power. The shot power is something in FIFA that I'll always bang on about, and it's when you say it out loud, it sounds stupid. It's so obvious, but then when you put it into practice and you actually think about it more, for every player that you use, you kind of think, actually, yeah, that does make so much sense. That's something you don't really think about. If you hit the target and you've got low shot power, you've got a much less chance of scoring, because obviously the goalkeeper can react to it. If you've got high shot power, and I'll give you an example of this, Raja Nainggolan doesn't necessarily have really good finishing, but he has incredible shot power, and this is real life as well. You'll notice that Raja Nainggolan only really ever scores bangers, and the reason for that is down to his shot power. If he can hit the target, the amount of power that he can generate behind that ball, doesn't matter how good the goalkeeper is, you just can't react to it that quickly, because the ball moves faster than your reactions will work. So that comes into FIFA more than real life, because the keepers are quite dodgy anyway. So with 97 natural shot power, it makes up for the, I wouldn't say lack of finishing, because 91 is still not bad, but yeah, that makes sense, right? Now, we're going to talk about some negatives, because at the moment I've kind of praised him for his movement, and with the chem style in particular, he does actually feel quite nice, and he's got 4-star, which is really good. There isn't really an awful lot to speak of at the moment that I don't like. I will rein it back in a little bit and say that the clumsiness does come through a little bit. Not all the time. I wouldn't even say, 4 or 5 times out of 10. I would say maybe once or twice out of 10 when he touches the ball, you can expect a heavy touch. You can expect the ball to get stuck under his feet. If you're doing the L1, LB dribble type movement, sometimes the ball just gets stuck, essentially, and you just can't move out of it. And it's down to the gameplay as much as it is the player. But just bear that in mind, that it's not always going to be, crisp and on point, shall we say. The finishing is good for the most part, but some of the more complicated shots from maybe obscure angles and things like that, you're not going to have trouble with necessarily, but you can't sort of say, well, this is going in, with like your Heung-min Son Team of the Seasons, or Aubameyang, and even Belotti's season objective card. If I take a shot from anywhere inside the penalty area, I am expecting that to go into the back of the net. Mahrez as well, but with Lucas Perez, it's not quite that accurate. His physical stats are probably where he not lacks. His stamina is an issue, definitely. For someone who has pace, and even more pace with a chem style and movement and such, you want to get him on the ball as often as you can. Problem with that, of course, 83 stamina isn't good enough, especially when you're playing up against 90 stamina defenders. They're going to last a lot longer than he is. He needs new batteries, so you need to sub him off. That's the issue there. I mean, to be fair, those are the only really big issues. The other one then, of course, comes all the way back round to he's a 77 rated card upgraded to an 88 with a chem style. So he's not going to feel as polished as some of your higher rated team of the season cards, but definitely worth that 80,000. And of course, he'll come down even more. So if you want my honest opinion, this card isn't as bad as you may think it is from first glance. I know people are not going to want this in their guaranteed. I know if you get this in your upgrades that you're going to do, you're going to plow all your coins into. I know if you get him, you'll be disappointed that he wasn't Suarez or Messi or whatever, and that's fair enough. I'm going to be exactly the same. I know I am. But just know that if you do pack him, he is well worth a try because he's actually nowhere near as bad as you'd think he is. The attacking work rate as well could definitely go up to high, but attempt to get forward, get in behind and stuff like that kind of overrides it anyway, so it's not really that big a deal, even though it's written down as a con. But that being said, let me know what you think of this card in the comment section down below. I enjoyed it for the most part, to be fair. A few kinks here or there, but generally speaking, for 80k, not bad at all. If you have enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index, the game changed. Download the app now.